interesting premise that as a child giving their father a resurgence in their career. Fantasy football is not only family friendly, but it's also kind of entertaining. So to summarize the film, because of Bobby's job, Callie has moved nearly every 2 years, and as Bobby got traded to a new FO team, so has Callie moved and lost any sense of stability or even friends for that matter. So with the recent move to Atlanta, there was hope that things could change with her dad on the Atlanta Falcons, and with her being approached by a robotics team and who wants to utilize her hacking skills. It feels like even though her dad has become very fumble prone and pretty much living off of the legacy of having the Eisman Trophy back in the day, maybe she can finally get what she's longed for in life. This especially becomes true when she, after a freak accident, begins to be able to control her dad for a Madden video game. But one of the problems of getting to control her dad and give him a career resurgence is Bobby's ego. He wants to put that before anything that Callie has going on, and with that comes a lot of issues in their relationship. And now with her put in at this crossroads between the friends that she could have and her dad having the kind of resurgence that would allow him to stay put, she's torn between the two, and it's increasingly difficult for her to know whether she should help her dad and continue his career, or finally begin to invest in all the things she's wanted but couldn't have because of her dad's career pretty much being on the decline for years. So in terms of our review, the first highlight is just the long-term investment in Callie's life and decisions. For when it comes to fantasy football, clearly her arc is the one that matters the most. And her father's floundering career getting resurgence because of her, combined with her getting friends, even a boyfriend potentially. That is what makes you invested. She has all the opportunities, all the decision-making power in the world. And just wondering what she may willingly sacrifice, including potentially her dad, is something worth noting. Now, I should note that when it comes to Kelly's life, she also has a mom that contributes to the household. So it's not like if there's not another source of income in the house. But what has to be considered is that the way that Bobby makes life seem, they can't live off of Callie's mom's salary as a nurse. Bobby has pretty much seemed to try to keep up with the Joneses for all of his career, so Callie deciding against her dad means not only losing the house, possibly losing whatever car they have, but in terms of these new friends she has, the way that they make it seem, if Callie doesn't side with her dad, that means that she may not be able to afford to go to that school anymore. Never mind without Callie's knowledge of hacking, which isn't really something they kind of let you know how she even got into that in the first place. If she's not on that robotics team, that could mean negative things for her friends in terms of, hey, we're not going to be able to get scholarships, either stay in the school or go to college. So with all that in mind, you see the weight of the world on Callie, and it makes it so whether she chooses her dad, chooses her friends, tries to balance the two, or maybe burn herself out, that is something you really want to focus on and see how it plays out, because clearly something's got to give sooner or later. So the second highlight is just how interesting of a premise this has and how it can be used for other sports. Now, let's be clear off the bat, I'm really not trying to see an MLB, UFC, or any other acronym version of fantasy football. But there's no denying that as a vehicle for different storylines, this could potentially work in. Hopefully it wouldn't be cut and paste when instead of a Callie, it could be a Naomi or a Jessica or even a Connor or whatever, and they're trying to help their father or mother with their flailing career. But you can easily see them kind of build off of what this movie did right or didn't do well, and then just doing fantasy basketball league, soccer, etc. And potentially, depending on how the story is or who gets casted, it could do well, because it's that type of, this is basically like a easy to make franchise in my opinion. especially for the kids and tweens world, where unlike people like me, we can't say that we've seen this a million times before and kind of got tired of it. Which leads to the on-defense portion. The main issue we have when it comes to fantasy football is that it has weak supporting characters. Keisha, who is Callie's mom, Bobby's wife, she doesn't get to be much more than that. She's a wife, a mother, and we see her in a nurse uniform, so that's how we know she's a nurse. Otherwise, she doesn't have a notable personality. She's just likable, and that pretty much goes for Callie's friends as well. There is a weird quiet one, some white girl who kind of has an edge to her, and while you have to appreciate how many black kids are shown and that are heavy into STEM, at the same time, like Roland's character, they're given a simple archetype, and pretty much all their purpose is driven toward reacting to Callie or giving her stuff to react to. As for who they are as individuals, there's not much beyond the surface. And I get, this is a kid's movie, so maybe that's expecting much, but it does kind of kill the replay value to me. It makes fantasy football come off as a film that's one and done, despite a rather cool premise. Overall, fantasy football has a notable premise and makes for an excellent starring vehicle for Marcy Martin. However, when it comes to everybody else in the film, I would say Amari Hardwick as Bobby kind of gets to shine a little bit, but everybody else is easily forgettable.